providing inspiration and community for women in business of Middle Tennessee. This is Powered by Her with Tiffany Anton.
I know you've been lonely, and you think your love is lost in the end.
Welcome to season 3 of Powered by Her. I'm so excited to start season 3. I'm excited to have our first guest here today. You will recognize her voice from the intro. You'll hear her all season long. I'm super excited. Welcome to Powered by Her. I am Tiffany Anton. If you want to know more about what we do, what we're about, go to poweredbyhercommunity.com. I want to take a minute to give a special shout out to Harper's Rare Books and Collectibles. They are the community place downtown. They have an art gallery, they have rare books, they have all collectible items, historical artifacts. It's a museum and a retail shop and an art gallery all in one. Go check out Harper's Rare Books and Collectibles. They have a Facebook page that they're really active on. And introduce yourself to Louis Matheny. Tell him that you heard about him from Powered by Her, and hope to see you over there. Today, we are kind of like going back to the beginning. I feel like there's a song, like Back in Time.
Yes.
Maybe Back in Time. Is Huey Lewis?
Yes, Huey Lewis in the news.
We're going back to the beginning, back to our roots with Cigi England. Welcome. I feel like that was so much
No, and the first time you didn't have a set. We
didn't. And actually, we've talked about this before, but we did a pilot. We had a pilot Powered by Her. And we went in and tested it out, and then you had to come back and we did it again. Yes. And so
now here you are.
And we did bonus content in our Powered by Her membership area. And so you're kind of famous, so I feel like there's no necessary. My kids definitely are like, I'm like, she's on a billboard, obviously.
It's a big deal. When you're on a billboard in Cookeville,
right.
You're basically famous.
Unless you're a realtor, and that's like a business card for them. So Cigi England, owner of Cigis Boutique, soon to be co-owner of The Exceptional Being.
Yes, founder.
That's
we're a nonprofit.
So, okay. So we're going to get into all that. Any other titles, hats that you want to wear right now?
I think that's it.
Okay,
yes.
So Cigi England. Mm-hmm. So Cigis Boutique is now what year?
We just turned 7.
We're 7 years old.
Yes.
So you kind of worked out a lot of the kinks. You've gotten a lot of the routine in. You know what you're doing. You have team members. You have employees.
Yes.
I feel like that 3.5 years ago when we you were still an infant at that time.
Yes, it was like party of one. I think I had an intern maybe at that time, but I have 2 girls that are amazing. I have an intern from tech that is amazing.
So let's first start there. You expand out to hiring employees. Mm-hmm. So what was that scary? Was it, what were some of the struggles you went through with that?
It is scary because this is kind of my baby. My business is my baby, and I'm there all the time. And,
it's your name.
It's my name. Yeah. So when people walk in, they expect to get a certain level of service because it's what they've had. And so when I'm not there, I was kind of nervous to leave it in the hands of someone else. But I really train these girls, and I'm a firm believer that if you take care of your employees and if you make them feel valued and appreciated, then they will in return perform at the level that you ask them to.
Let's talk a little bit about probably some guilt of thinking, my customers know me, they come in there. I'm sure at the beginning, it was very difficult to let go. Women love to pack the guilt right in their bag and carry it around so how did you get over that? It's okay that I'm not at this place all the time.
Well, I knew I wanted to do other things and start other projects and be involved in different organizations. And so I can't run my business, do all the behind the scenes work, be at my business 50 hours a week and do other things and have a life and be a wife and be a friend. So I was kind of like, okay, what are the things that only I can do? Let's focus on those things, and everything else, let's pass them off. Because at the end of the day, I'm not performing brain surgery. I'm not curing cancer. I'm selling clothing, and it's okay if I'm not there all the time. It's okay.
How long did that process take for you to be able to say that sentence? It's okay.
Years, probably 5 years.
For
real.
Because I think that women just go through that a lot of just, oh my gosh, if I'm not there, if I'm not doing, if I'm not, it's all going to fall apart. And I think part of the thing, you do enjoy being there.
Oh, I
you
love it.
do enjoy
Yeah.
that. So kind of figuring out the balance, you don't have to be there, but figuring out how many hours a week am I going to fill my bucket by being there and kind of taking care of myself in that way, because you started this business for a reason. You started there. I feel like so many people, as they grow their business, I like to say a lot of times, somebody who starts a cleaning business, you're not going to be cleaning houses all the time. And if you really like that, which some people really do, or you're baking bread, or you start, eventually you're not going to be doing all that. You're going to have other people on your team. So how has that process been for you of, okay, let me let go of this, because it is important that I, sit down with my books once a week.
And I used to do all of that after hours. So I would work a full day, then I would stay and clean the store for an hour. So then I'm out of there at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Then I would go home and do my buying and my books and track shipments, and that's not healthy. I need to be able to step away. So now that I have this new routine, when I go home, I put my phone on the charger and I don't touch it until the next morning, because I'm on my phone all day with social media, posting and doing sales and checking my email. So when I go home, I want to be at home and I want to be tuned in to my husband and how was your day, and, cooking dinner and doing all those things.
And I think you have to make that.
You have to make yourself do it.
I was just talking about parenting, and sometimes it's like, well, why is it that I can't, ingrain in my kids the routine and structure? And it's because I'm not my attention is split so much. Unless I say, okay, I'm not put that away. This is where my focus is right now.
There's a blogger in Nashville that I follow. It's KB Styled, and she has a full-time job. She has 2 kids. She's a full-time blogger, and she does all these other things. And so I went to meet her, and I said, how do you do everything? And you seem to do it well. And that was her trick to me. She said, whatever you're doing right now, do this. And then put your phone away, cook dinner, be with your kids. And then, when you're doing your blog, do your blog. Don't try to do everything at one time, because you're going to stress yourself out.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think that's the difference. I've talked to a few people lately about this, is that when we were kids, our parents didn't have a cell phone in their pocket.
No.
They didn't have an email. Email was just kind of starting around when I was a kid, but they didn't really have that, those distractions all the time.
24-hour communication. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah. We could go a lot into why you started and where you're at and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to tell people, go back and listen to episode 1.
Go back.
And so you can find kind of the journey of opening Cigis. Since you have opened, you've now started a new line. You have tweens that you sell for, and you are in a new store with a different feel to that, different setup, I guess.
It is. It's a different setup. It's kind of a different vibe. We got the street frontage and we got a lot of natural sunlight coming in. I just hung up a lot of art yesterday, so I'm still kind of making it my new space. Yeah. It's my 3rd location in the same building, but we just keep kind of growing and expanding. But having employees, I think my main thing with how I'm able to do everything I do now, take care of your employees, pay them a nice wage, let them know that, hey, I appreciate you. I trust you with my business. I buy my girls lunch every day. I try to do a team dinner at least once a month. I give them 40% off. I need you, so I'm going to take care of you, and I value you. Yeah. And I feel like if I were paying them, a lesser wage, and I don't know, they would just be there and they wouldn't have any investment in my store, and they wouldn't take any pride and ownership. Yeah. But I let them know, if I'm not here, you are me. Yeah. And people expect friendly greeting, come out from behind the desk, let me help you with your sizing.
Sit on the floor. I'm unpacking boxes. Here, come sit with me.
Here's the new stuff. We do that for people, and people expect that. So if they were to walk in, some girl is on her cell phone, chewing her gum and not even making eye contact, that's not Cigis. That's not what we do. And if I ever hear that you're doing that, they know that there will be consequences. And so I'm a very detailed oriented, here's what I expect of you. If you don't do this, you are of no service to me. Yeah. But I'm going to reward you and I'm going to take care of you. So
that's a very important thing as a business owner. And I've talked about that on another podcast with Cash in the Check, of just making sure you take care of your employees. Yes. There's somebody, I can't afford to pay them more. Well, you better figure it out.
You better figure it out.
Because otherwise you're not going to be able to have the level of customer service that you need. Yes. Or people to stick around. Yeah. And so that's been a tough thing, and, that people are facing a lot right now.
Yes. And both of my girls got raises in COVID year, whenever that was, I can't even remember, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And then they've continued to get a raise each year.
Yeah.
Now, this is a 18-year-old and a 20-year-old. They don't know anything about cost of living increase, but I do.
Right.
And I expect more out of you, and I need you. So I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
That's just important.
So you mentioned kind of all the other things that you wanted to do. So your bigger hat these days, the kind of the what's in the foreground for you. So Cigi's Boutique is doing well, and you're not putting it in auto drive, but it's a little bit more. It's a 7-year-old now.
Yes.
So the 7-year-old can use the microwave and cook their own dinner.
Yes. That's a good analogy.
You can't leave them overnight, but they can get their own snacks. But so now you are starting a coffee shop for special needs people to have employment.
Yes, and community.
And community.
Employment and community.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me about the Exceptional Bean.
Okay. So the Exceptional Bean is going to be a coffee shop that employs individuals with disabilities and special needs. It's also going to be a place where they can come, hang out, kick it. You have a restroom you can use. You have a ramp that you can get in the door, because people with disabilities sometimes can't go where you and I want to go.
Yeah.
If after this podcast we're like, hey, let's go grab lunch at wherever. If we were in a wheelchair or had a special need, we would be, do they have a big enough door? Is there a restroom facility that I can use? Is there a ramp? So my friends with disabilities have to think that every time they leave their home. So a lot of times they don't go anywhere. They don't have a sense of community. They may have church on Sundays. They may have one little activity they do. But for the most part, if you're an adult with special needs, it's very hard to get a job, and it's very hard to find somewhere to go that is your spot.
And I want to kind of point out that special needs is not necessarily just something that you can see that somebody is different.
Yes, it's not just a wheelchair.
It's not somebody that just isn't, whatever. There's definitely different levels of special needs. And people need community no matter what their disabilities are of some sort. And so think of ourselves as sitting at home and not going anywhere, and how that could be very difficult and very depressing, and not necessarily having a fulfilling life. We need those things. So just because somebody has maybe a physical disability doesn't mean, or even an emotional disability or whatever, doesn't mean that they don't need the community.
Very true.
It's imperative for all people. It is,
for all humans and their caretakers and their family members, because we know parents of individuals with special needs that also don't have community and don't have a social life, because their whole life revolves around their child, their adult child, so it's important for them as well.
So where did the inspiration for this come from? Why?
Yes, so I'm involved with Rising Above. My husband Michael is involved with Ainsley's Angels, which is they incorporate inclusivity in the sporting world. So he pushes our friend Bradley in a wheelchair in all the local races. Rising Above, people are very familiar with that. They minister to special needs families as a whole. So after getting involved and making friends, we're like, oh wow, this is a challenge,
Understanding the special needs community and disabilities in ways that probably 5 years ago you never thought of.
Because it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
So I never even had it on my radar.
Right.
But then once I start going to birthday parties and Christmas parties and, all these things, the movies, bowling, I start to notice like, oh, well, if we brought, Abby here, we couldn't get, I'm noticing.
Yes.
And I talked to you before, like, it's like being a mom, and after you have a kid, you're like, oh, this is not kid friendly, or this isn't safe. Like, I started to notice things like that. And even like sounds and lights and, sensitivities. It's not just a physical disability, like you were saying. There's a lot of things that go into that.
Right. Let me say too, I think sometimes the disabled community, people don't know, so they shy away.
Yes.
So 5 years ago, you didn't know the things that you know now.
Yes.
That did not make you less of a person. It didn't make you a bad person. It just means that you've expanded your horizon and you're aware now more than you used to be.
Yes.
And I think that some people get afraid of things that they don't know.
Sure.
And so they shy away. What do you have to say to a community of people that are saying, I don't know how to interact in a disabled community and special needs. So I'm afraid to even come into the coffee shop because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Sure. People have said that to me. And that's the whole point of this. It's not just for our friends with disabilities. We want everyone in the Upper Cumberland and surrounding areas to come in and learn how to interact. And we want you to see the ability over the disability. And we want you to learn how to just be yourself. And the best advice that we were given, we went to a dance. I can't remember which event. I think it was Heroes Ball for individuals with special needs. And this young lady like had her eyes on my husband. She was like, you could tell she was like heart eye emoji. So we knew the mom. And so Michael went up to the mom and it was his first interaction. This has been years ago. And he said, hey, how do I handle this? Clearly she's about to come ask me to dance. We all see that.
Right.
And she said, Michael, just be kind.
Yeah.
And that was the best advice. And it like stuck in my head. When you don't know how to act or how to interact, just be kind. That's all you have to do. He didn't have to like go out of his way. When she asked to dance, yes, let's dance. They danced for hours. He was like, I got to go get a drink. Like I can run a marathon, but you're wearing me out on the dance floor. So just be kind.
Yes.
That's all you have to do.
I think sometimes too, and this is what I think is going to be so great about the Exceptional Bean, which is not open at the moment.
No.
It's April is the
maybe
opening.
sooner. I was driving over here and they're in there working.
Okay, so
I'm going to say April to cushion it.
Yes, so April should be the opening date.
Yes.
But there will be they're partnered workers. Is that how does it work?
Okay, so we are a nonprofit. So what that means is we are counting on our community to build the Exceptional Bean. This isn't something that Michael and I are doing on our own. We are counting on donations, your time, your resources, your talents. Like we didn't want to just go out and do this on our own. We wanted it to be like, you've bought stuff, you bought shirts and coffee. So when you come in with your girls, you're like, girls, we helped make this a reality. You can take ownership in that. It makes me want to cry because I want everyone that has given $1 to $5,000 to come in and say, look, we did this together. This isn't something that I did. I just get to sit here and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
But we want everyone that comes in to just take pride and ownership and know that you helped make it a reality. So we will have employees that have disabilities, employees that don't have disabilities. We will pay them just like a normal place. You will get an hourly rate based on your experience, plus you'll get tips. And then we will have 3 full-time employees. One that oversees everything, which is going to be my husband, Michael. He's going to be the overseer, the general manager, so to speak. And then we will have someone.
Michael needs a way better title than general manager.
I know, right? Like what should he's
got to
so cool.
Leave it in the comments, send us some messages. Let's figure out what
his title.
Michael's,
but he'll kind of oversee because his background is in management and customer service and sales. So you got to have that person. Then we're going to have our team members. We'll have greeters. We will have drink makers. We will have drink deliverers. We will have prepackaged food. So we'll have breakfast and lunch from Backroom Bistro, Meg's Bread, the French Cookie. We're going to serve some other drinks too, but those aren't locked in yet, so I'm not going to say them. But if you don't like coffee, you can still come and have a drink and a snack. But we will have team members that deliver your meal to you. So no matter what your skill set is, we're going to have something that you can do.
Well, and the reason kind of I was asking about the people that are going to be there is that there'll be people around to ask questions. So
Yes.
when Michael went to this woman's mom and said, what do I do?
Yes.
There'll be people. And I think when you're in situations where you don't know and you don't want to offend people and you want to be kind, but you feel nervous that I don't know what kind looks like necessarily sometimes, ask.
Ask questions. That's the secret to life.
I think there's no harm in saying, I don't know.
That's okay.
I want to know better. I want to do better.
Yes.
So teach me.
Yes, teach me, show me. I want to do better. It's just like when I met one of my friends in Atlanta who was from Bangladesh. Like, I don't know anything about her culture, but I wanted to learn more and I wanted to be respectful and like, excuse me if this is a dumb question, but I would ask her questions. And it's anyone that's different from you, you don't know.
Right.
So ask.
And then I have friend that her family is from Pakistan, and I've asked about Diwali, which is an Indian holiday. I did not know that they were separate, and she kind of laughed, but she was like, well, how would you know? How would you know that you know?
You're
and
from
so
Michigan.
yeah, right. I mean, I'm practically Canadian, so yeah, I think that just asking and learning is kind of your best bet for some of those things.
Yes.
Let's look at the business aspect.
Okay.
How did you learn? Like, starting a nonprofit does not sound like a fun thing for me. I mean, the outcome of it, but filling out paperwork for a 501c3 and figuring out the taxes and how have you, and this is like just maybe a year-long process.
Not even a year.
In.
Yeah.
How'd you learn? How'd you do? What?
Ask questions. And I went to people who did know. So went to the Biz Foundry very early on, and Jeff was like, you need to do this, 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 and this. You need to talk to him, you know, all these people. So I did that. And then once I hit another wall, I needed help in this area. So I asked questions. I don't know. I didn't know how to do this. So I went to an accountant. I went to a bookkeeper. I went to an attorney. I went to someone in coffee knowledge. I went to the Biz Foundry. I went to other nonprofits in town and just had a legal pad, like asking questions. Today I have to go do that 2 more times because I'm still learning.
At some point, was it like, I don't know that I can, I have a business. I understand what entrepreneurship is about. I understand, I have employees. I've done these things. At some point, was it like, this is so different. It's so scary.
It's so scary. And I was talking to Michael last night. There have been 5 different things that have happened where logically I should have said or could have said, this is not happening. Clearly 5. And it's been less than a year where I should have thrown in the towel. It would have made more sense. No one would have blamed me. It didn't make sense on paper. And then just something in me, and I mean, it's my faith. To me personally, that's what it is. I know this is going to work. And I know this is going to change people's lives, not just my friends with disabilities, but the community is going to learn and be educated on abilities over disabilities. And we're going to see that together we can pull this and make this a reality. So not one time have I wanted to throw in the towel, but I've looked at,
multiple.
Yes. Yeah. And said, gosh, this is not making sense on paper, but my heart is telling me to go for it.
And I think having the right people in
my board of directors.
The community that you keep is so important. When you started Cigi's Boutique, and you can go back to episode 1, I'm sure we talked about it then, you were out to dinner with some friends who were not business owners. No. Yeah, you can do this. Yeah, go get it. Yeah, like they're gassing you up.
Yeah.
And they had no idea.
No.
And it's been okay. You've made it work.
Yeah.
But having the right people in your corner this time, and not just people who are going to gas you up and say, yeah, you can do it.
Yes.
It's probably going to make it a smoother transition longer down the road.
Yes. So my board of directors, can I speak on that for a minute? So Dawn Fry is an attorney here in town. She's on the school board. She is a professor at Tech. She is a special needs mom. Like, she's on the Rising Above board with me. So she wears so many hats. Rock star.
Yeah.
And then we got Zach Buckner, who started Broast, so coffee knowledge is there, and starting a business is there. He's
and
like
marketing,
a serial entrepreneur. Yeah, he does everything. So he's on our board. Carrie Harden, who has been a friend of mine for several years, and she's a special needs mom. She's very involved in the community, and she's just super mom is Carrie Harden to me. Her heart too is there, and so she's very knowledgeable. Blake Shearer, who is also a rock star. He has had every job in the school system for SPED, and now he works for the state of Tennessee Disabilities Coalition. He's just so much knowledge. And then Michael is on the board because he's going to be our person that is in the exceptional being every day, kind of coming back to us and saying, okay, this is working, this is not working, we need help in this area, we need to change this. So is that everyone? Blake, Dawn, Carrie, Zach, me, and Michael. Yeah, that's everyone.
So, and having, people who are, their expertise is not necessarily just coffee.
Yes.
Their expertise is not just the disabled community.
Yes.
Their expertise, having a vast variety of people who are going to bring their own, knowing where your holes are, knowing what you need to, fill. It's really important.
It's so important. And I am the crazy dreamer. Like, I'm reading a book right now called Crazy Faith. It is like, I will read a page and I'm like, whoa, like I'm fired up. I am that person. I am positivity. We can do this. I know we can do it. But you've got to have your realistic, logical people that are like, are you seeing these numbers? Like, this isn't making sense. But I'm like, okay, but we can do this, this, and this, and that's how we can make it work. So you got to have crazy dreamer positivity, but you got to have logical,
Yeah. And I think that's one thing. I'm about to be 40 this year.
Woo!
And so as I've gotten older, realizing, okay, I really appreciate there's things that maybe you drive me crazy because you have to have all the details down, but I'm not a details person. Yeah. And so I know I need that. And it drives me crazy because it's not who I am, but I really need you. And I really do appreciate. And so knowing kind of the balance of that as you get older in life, I think just kind of, there's so many secrets that people are taking notes right now.
Number one, ask questions.
Ask questions.
Number two, know your strengths, your weaknesses. Yeah. And if you don't have that strength, be vulnerable enough to say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Yeah. I need you.
Yeah.
And that's literally the secret to life.
So, I often say, what advice can you give to other business owners, female entrepreneurs? What advice can you give to people who want to start a nonprofit, who have some sort of ministry on their heart, or what advice there? Because most of I feel like there's a lot more passion and a lot less maybe like the logical like steps of things.
Yes.
In somebody who wants to start a nonprofit.
And what's crazy to me is I thought that I could like go somewhere and have a checklist of how to open a nonprofit, and that does not exist because there are different types of nonprofits, and it's, are you mission based? Are you going to, because we are a retail store and a nonprofit, so we're kind of a different animal. There's no one else in Cookeville doing what we do. There's nonprofits galore that are doing wonderful work, but none of them have a storefront. So my advice would be, get it down on paper exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it and what you want it to look like. What is your mission? What is your vision? And then seek out people in the nonprofit world. Whatever you're going to do, like for us, it's coffee. Seek out people in the coffee world. Find an attorney, find an accountant. You have to have
build your team.
Yeah, you have to have a team. Whether or not they're your employee or not, they're your team. Like our accountant is on our team. So you just need to seek out, before you even do anything, get the whole mission out. What do you want it to look like? What do you want to do? And then start asking questions.
There are resources for people.
There are resources, yes. The Biz Foundry is great to start with. They can kind of tell you, okay, here is how you can do a nonprofit. Here's the forms. You need to talk to this type of attorney. And that's, my meeting today is someone that Jeff at the Biz Foundry set me up with. Yeah. So you just start there and then start with people who have nonprofits. Yeah. Because they can help you.
Yeah. And so business-wise, did you have to do an LLC and all that for
state of Tennessee business license?
So so it is. I mean, it's essentially you're starting two new things.
Yes.
Where you'll have the nonprofit, where you have a board to answer to, but that's a lot.
It's a lot, and I had no idea how much it was going to be, but look at God's timing. Like, it's January. It's the slowest month of the year for my store. So I'm able to come do this. I'm able to focus on the bean right now.
Well, and I think that the world needs people, because I think I'm a little bit like that, where it's just like, I want to do something, let's go. I don't want to see all the negativity attached to it. The world needs people who are going to say, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, there's a million reasons not to. Why not? But, let's go. And you can kind of drag the people along sometimes, but the world needs people that want to change it.
Yeah, and the world needs people to say, Tiffany, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah. Here's how you do it. Is it going to be easy? Yeah. No. Yeah. Is it going to be quick? No. Is it going to be, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick, but you can do it.
Is it going to be worth it? Heck yeah.
Yes, it's going to be so worth it. I mean, we already are having like people come into my store, people see us at Kroger or wherever with our Exceptional Bean shirt, like parents. And I mean, I've cried in Kroger, I've cried at McAllister's, because these parents are telling us, thank you.
Yeah.
Someone that doesn't even have a special needs child, you're doing this for us and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
But again, it's not me, it's our community. It's everyone that is making this a reality.
Yeah. So 5-year plan for the Exceptional Bean. What do you see?
There will be multiple beans.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like yet, but there will be Sparta, Livingston, Crossville, like we're expanding.
Throughout
sure.
the Upper Cumberland.
And
Once
then
you
beyond.
kind of figure out how this works here, expand
Yeah.
here, and then go out for. Do you think anything will ever happen with Cigis? What?
I love one Cigis there. It's my little nest. It's comfortable. We do it well. And Cigi can't be in Cigis in Livingston and Cigis in Sparta. Like I'm good with my one store because it works very well and I can keep my hand on it. And
I actually think, did we talk about, this was 4 years,
I expanded once. Yeah.
So Whitwell, right?
hometown,
Yeah. And it didn't feel right for you. It didn't work right. And so.
And on paper, was it a failure? Probably yes. But did I learn from it? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I can answer that question so confidently. Like, I mean, Michael's all the time like, man, we could do more. I don't want to do more with Cigis.
Yeah.
I want it to be there. I want it to be, I can have access to it all the time. I can be there. But then the bean is a mission and it's helping people. And so is Cigis. It's my mission. It's how I'm helping. But every town needs an exceptional bean.
Yeah.
So
There's
every town doesn't necessarily need a Cigis.
Some people may disagree with that, but so how can people find Cigi's boutique is located on Spring Street across from the courthouse.
Yep.
Women's clothes, tween clothes.
Yeah.
So
If
probably
you're a woman, you can shop there.
Yes.
Like ages 6 to 96
Yeah.
or 106. Keep whatever.
however old.
Yeah.
And lots of different styles, lots of different
Affordable.
So check out the boutique over there. The Exceptional Bean. How can people find more information? How can people join in, get involved?
TheExceptionalBean.com is our website. We're on Instagram and Facebook, The Exceptional Bean. You can give via PayPal, The Exceptional Bean. You can give via Venmo, The Exceptional Bean. You can come to my store and talk to me about it. I think that's every resource.
So find Cigi England. Michael England is usually running around downtown.
Yes, my husband is runner dude.
So find either find either of them and talk to them. Figure out ways to get involved. We're looking forward to April. We're just going to keep April.
We're going to keep April. Yeah.
We're going to say we're looking forward to April.
We didn't tell the location.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so the location is 55 North Walnut, which is the 1 Hour Martinizing building. They are
the old 1 Hour Martinizing.
They are now behind Kroger. They are still open. Your dry cleaning is still there. But right by the Leslie Town Center, that's where we're going to be.
So actually from where we're at right now at Cookville Creative, we could walk over there and grab our coffee.
We're going to have a drive-through?
Drive-through for the busy people that don't want to get out of their cars, or when, like today, it's kind of a cold day.
Rainy, whatever. Yeah.
So check it out. Go and follow social media to find out an exact opening date as we get farther along in this.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have a Powered by Her event over there, and we'll bring all our ladies over and check it out. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for launching season 3 with me.
Yes, congratulations.
Like I said, it kind of feels like it comes back around.
Yeah.
You're just always a staple with the Powered by Her community, and so we love having you here. And
Thank you.
if you want to learn more about Powered by Her, head over to poweredbyhercommunity.com. Thanks for listening.